I didn't know who he was, but now you see.
You know what impresses me about Kawhi? Kawhi's the boss, and no one gets it.
Yeah,
it's like a Kaiser Sose thing. He's a gangster. He's in charge, and he does it without saying a word. He kept the media waiting. Like, I had to leave before he got that guy. We had to get up in the morning. It's like he's supposed to come out at 10:30. It's 10:45, 11, 11:15. Everyone else is done an hour ago. He's taking his time. He'll come out when he's ready. Kept everyone. But not only that, like, he chooses the Clippers. Right?
Yes.
Instead, no, LeBron, I'm not coming to join you. I'm coming to get you. And
that was the biggest
And then
move.
gets Paul George. He's like directing who's going where. Like, people don't understand.
There was an interview, guys, in the Washington Post, Ben Golliver yesterday. Charles Barkley picked a side in the Kawhi versus LeBron debate. Let me read you this quote. He said, "I don't hesitate at this point. Kawhi's a better player than LeBron. He does everything better. He's a better defender. He's a better scorer. He's better at imposing his will on the game."
I agree. And I'm with you on this. Like, this dude basically came to LA and said, "This is mine." He has this New Balance commercial where he's driving. I don't know if you noticed it. When he turns the key, there's a crown hanging from, a king's crown hanging from the
Way to pay
keychain.
attention to that detail.
Yeah, and
he's mocking him.
He's got billboards all over the town. I would have been pissed off.
Keep doing it because he's got depth and that's Kawhi. No pulse, completely unafraid of the moment, bullying LeBron James right now. And if you answer back, Kawhi's still got an answer for you. He's not going away.
If he ends up getting the Clippers a parade, can you see this? In front of
he's
Staples
going to.
Center?
That's right.
Oh my
Driving by
God.
Magic.
They are great on offense and on defense. They have great role players and star players. They're great now, and they're going to be great later because Paul George is going to come back. This is a truly complete team. Most of the super teams that we have seen built in this era don't have the full team already built. They have a little bit of an adjustment period while they add role players. Well, these guys, this was ready-made. Yeah. This is different. Even though they don't have the classic 3 stars, it's a differently built team.
This isn't such an organizational example to me. This is a franchise that had every disadvantage in this market, and yet when you look from top to bottom, has built such a strong team. The work that was required to get to this point, I think is just so impressive. This didn't just happen, and now we're seeing.
Came on Get Up and following him in college, I couldn't help but do a parallel between he and Steph Curry. And the only difference between he and Steph Curry, to be honest with you, the guy that's been a unanimous MVP and a 3-time champion, Trae Young, better playmaker.
That can stop them because clearly from a collection standpoint, the Clippers are the best team in basketball. I don't care what anybody says. They're too deep at every single position. Once George is there with a Kawhi Leonard, with those two and Lou Williams on the floor, Lord have mercy, it would be something special. What can direct the league? But we're talking superstars.
Superstar.
We are talking
Kawhi Leonard's offense is a quarter step below some of the people you mentioned. Unless the chips are on the line. And then his offense is as good as anyone.
See, you got me there.
And his defense, and the only guy you mentioned with Kawhi Leonard defense is AD.
My bad. He was playing at the Smoothie King Arena. They won in the playoffs a couple of times that he wasn't a player. He averaged 30, by the way, but he have a team with him. But that's all right.
I'm not saying anything against AD.
Listen,
you're not going to get me to say anything against AD.
AD is not only going to be playing in the Staples Center this year. He'll be wearing the purple and gold. A franchise you called the most storied franchise in basketball history.
Molly,
and I'm telling you right now, there ain't going to be no excuse.
Molly, watch
no
this.
Excuses.
Watch this.
Yeah,
you say no excuses? You say no excuses? When Kawhi Leonard wins his third Finals MVP,
right
I'm saying when he does with his third team first play history, I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear about his team. He has Patrick Beverly. I want you to give.
Blasphemy coming out of your mouth.
Now, let me be very clear. Look, Kawhi Leonard is the best player on earth. He's the reigning Finals MVP.
No.
He beat the Greek Freak in the playoffs. He was better than the Freak.
Stop it.
LeBron didn't want any part of him opening night. What does he have to do?
He has never won an MVP.
Oh, regular season. Regular season.
Caught up in the regular season right now. And I want to keep the same energy. That's how this applies. I want everyone who's talking about load management with Kawhi right now to keep that same energy when Kawhi is dominating the postseason again. It just worked. The Greek Freak It was his world in the Eastern Conference all regular season. They were load managing Kawhi, who was like a half step below the MVPs in the regular season, just like now. Just like now. And when the rubber met the road, Kawhi dominated the Greek Freak. Watch these playoffs, because these two teams are going to go to the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi will get his team through. LeBron's not going to want any parts of Kawhi, who will be fully rested while they're foolishly overplaying LeBron in the regular season.
Clippers feel like they have an edge, but they do have an edge. They have the Finals MVP. They have a coaching advantage, I believe, and they just got more mental toughness than the Lakers. Now, the Lakers can learn something from this. They know they got to get tougher if they want to beat the Clippers down the road in the playoffs.
Lakers' 4-game losing streak. How much does it concern?
It's very concerning because a lot of these losses are coming against contenders, Milwaukee Bucks, Denver Nuggets, now the Clippers, even a gritty Pacers team. So it's just showing me that when times get tough, the tough get rolling, and that's the Lakers right now. Because if you're a contender, I don't remember last time a team we saw picked to go to the finals lost 4 in a row.
All right.
Dust cleared, like you reverse that when the dust settled, when the smoke cleared. You could see that Kawhi is, like, there's no drama here. Kawhi is obviously number one because, as I said, he ate Giannis's lunch. But how are you going to leave the reigning and defending MVP off of the list?
Yeah, like, to me, if I was LeBron James, you tip the hat and say, you know what, in this moment in time, the Clippers were really good. I'll tell you, just like you said that, Jay Will, how about on the other side, Kawhi Leonard? He acted like he just beat the Knicks. I mean, it was like just another game. Ho-hum, yeah, you know what?
That's him,
Christmas,
That's him, though.
Let's go. He just walked off the court like this is just the next game. Who do we have next? This is not going to win us a championship. We're not worried about being the champions of L.A. We're worried about being NBA champions. I love the way Kawhi Leonard.
Will Kawhi keep LeBron from winning a title in L.A.?
And he is my boy.
I know, that's why I acknowledged it.
No, I'm just saying you didn't have to say that. Everybody knows that. But what they will be interested in, and probably kind of surprised, is that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and Doc Rivers, Damon Woody, will keep LeBron from winning in L.A. this year. I know that for a fact.
Worry about. But I'm not even going to talk about that right now because I love what you just brought up, Stephen A. What did I say? Who did I say is the best basketball player in the world after the finals last year? Kawhi Leonard.
Yes.
What did we see opening night? Kawhi Leonard. Did LeBron want him? No, he did not. What did you sit there saying as you would say religiously from that point on? LeBron, you better show up Christmas Day. It's not that LeBron didn't show up. It's that Kawhi did. Gave him 35 and 12. Was easily the best player on the floor, and they won again with the whole world watching. Kawhi Leonard is better than LeBron James. That's the Lakers' problem. And then Paul George. Listen, you know why the Clippers have 12 losses instead of the 7 the Lakers have? Because they're not playing themselves in the regular season. Let the Lakers make a point, chase a regular season record as the Warriors did when they fell to LeBron. LeBron seemed to have forgotten the lesson that he understood in recent years. He's older. Let me take my foot off the pedal in the regular season in some ways so I can accelerate in the playoffs. That's what the Clippers are doing. You know why they lost a couple of games recently, had a close call with the Knicks? Kawhi doesn't play on this day, then Paul George doesn't play on that day. Kawhi doesn't play like that. When they play together, they play 25, 20 minutes, 19 minutes, doesn't matter. It's enough to beat these teams. When the playoffs come, the Clippers will be ready. The number one problem the Lakers have in this season, forget about AD in the offseason for a second, is the best player in the world, is also obviously the best player in Los Angeles, and he plays.
I like their chance too, but I see the Los Angeles Clippers coming out of the Western Conference and winning the NBA championship. And I've said that from the beginning. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, they have a recipe for winning. And what gets them over the hump, to me, Doc Rivers.
Sent from the future to destroy your title hopes. That's it. You don't have a
It privately said this, and you know I've told you this off the air, Max, on numerous occasions. The Clippers have said, Stephen A., we got 5 dogs. I don't know.
This man has perjured himself. You started the year. Hold up. I sat here before the year started when Kawhi Leonard, the best player in basketball, like the freak towers above the league. LeBron's doing amazing things, but when the games matter, Kawhi has their hearts, all of them. He snatches it. He stops them on defense. He scores on them on offense, and his team wins. I told you, wherever Kawhi goes, they win the chip. If he would have stayed in Toronto, hold up. Toronto right now is second in the East, brother. How would they be with Kawhi Leonard and they don't lose anything? They keep the team and add Kawhi. They'd be favored. He went to the Clippers. They're favored. Told you before the season. I'm not trying to hear your Patrick Beverley excuses after the fact, the coaching excuses, trade deadline excuses. Scratch. You have no other players on your team. LeBron James by himself gets you farther than Kawhi Leonard by himself. However, given similar teams, Kawhi will get you a championship where LeBron may not.
With that.
Nothing wrong with that. Kawhi's got no excuses, and he don't want them.
And I'm
you know
not
who else
accusing
doesn't
him
have
of
any
wanting it.
excuses? No excuses. Harden,
Well,
LeBron, Giannis. No one has any excuses. They all got
We
squads.
can say they don't want it, but the reality is until we expose them to the same pressure that we expose LeBron
He's the Finals
to.
MVP.
No, come on
Listen,
now, come on now.
part of him
Come on now.
saying it's
No,
my
please.
city, he's the one that.
And LeBron could go nuclear and be dominant and win another championship. But with all things equal going into the bubble, I have to pick Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Doc Rivers on the sideline. They added Tyronn Lue with Sam Cassell. And it's only right for the Clippers, who don't have a retired jersey, who don't have a statue in front of the Staples Center, who don't have their own building that they play in just yet, to win an unorthodox championship in a bubble in Orlando.
On ESPN, Stephen A., which one seed is more likely to get bounced first in these playoffs?
Well, first of all, to be clear, I'm not predicting either number one seed will get bounced in the first round. But if it were to happen, I would say it would be the Lakers that have the best chance of getting knocked off. The Portland Trailblazers are coming. They have.
Stephen A., what do you think? Will the Clippers Nuggets series be at all competitive after seeing this game last night?
I don't. Mad respect and props to the Denver Nuggets because they can play. And I know last night was somewhat of an aberration because of fatigue after that 7-game series to the Jazz. But Kawhi Leonard is just on another level. They can't stop this brother. He can do what he wants, when he wants, against whom he pleases right now. That's how lethal he looks. And as much as I love the Joker and what have you, you know, the athleticism of Harrell and Morris and those boys, the Clippers just have entirely too much. And you can just see it. I don't even see how they can match up. If it was Utah, it would have probably been a sweep. In this case, Denver might, Jamal Murray might explode. They might get a game. But that's about it. And 5 at the most. I see Clippers winning this series.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just, after watching this game last night, it was men's amongst boys. And much props to the Denver Nuggets for getting to this point, but they just don't have enough. And to your point, Stephen A., Kawhi Leonard is in a zone. We're talking about everybody else, but we're not talking about Kawhi Leonard. Right now, the way he's mastering that mid-range, getting to his spots, the way that he's attacking the basket, you could tell he's locked in and is carrying over. People could say what they want about the Morris twin and what happened last series, but this brother has been balling. He's becoming a knockdown shooter. He's knocking down shots. He has actually been the second most reliable person on that team. And then adding Patrick Beverley, he brings a different tenacity. I didn't really notice it in the first round, but him being on the court, he brings a different type of flavor and gives them a different type of swag. So I don't see the Denver Nuggets winning more than one game in this series right now.
You think LA should legitimately be scared of Portland?
Hell yes, they should. They have a lot to be concerned about when it comes to the Portland Trailblazers.